Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And she is a woman who kicks ass.
I try to.
We're going to talk about women who kick ass in The Mandalorian, that they kicked ass without them having to make a big deal about them being women.
Right, which is what I've been saying.
Yeah, this is really interesting. So Katee Sackhoff had an interview the other day with Looper, and it was a very, very, very long interview. But in that interview, she talked about how they had the all-female ass-kicking scene in The Mandalorian, but it wasn't, they didn't draw attention to it like in the Avengers where they had to make sure they all walked in slow motion.
I know.
And you knew it was a historic moment.
Right, because women. Did we mention women? Because they're women. The Force is female because of women, because it's all women.
And Geeky has been saying in multiple videos, not that Katee Sackhoff is listening, but she has said in multiple videos.
So I agree with Katee.
Yeah, she does. She said in multiple videos that it was cool because they had all these women kicking ass, but they did not make a big deal out of it. It was just normal.
Yes, I'll talk about it after we do our intro.
Yeah, so before we get into it, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We're over 185,000 subs. Hit the sub button, hit the like button. Mash whatever button you want to mash. Smash those buttons.
I don't care what. I don't want to know about some of the buttons they mash. But anyway.
Button smasher.
But yeah, so this. Okay, when I first saw the finale episode of The Mandalorian Season 2, I was like watching it. I was all into it, all excited, Everybody was talking about the Luke Skywalker moment. But my takeaway from it was women were like going to the bridge. And they were kicking ass, and they were, almost the whole way there. And then it dawned on me, wait a minute, it's all women. Because, this is diversity done right, strong female characters done right. They were just really, really, really good characters that happened to be women. They weren't just women that happened to be characters. They were, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I guess it's like
women.
But this happened to be characters, because we mentioned that they're female. I was just like, watching this, and I was all excited because anymore, I'm sure I'm not the only one that does this, because of all the effing ridiculousness anymore, where they try to shoehorn everything they can and make it all about, diversity and not about good characters and organic diversity. You're always like watching these things because you're like, oh, there it is there it is there. And it was so well done that it didn't even dawn on me. Until, they were almost to the bridge. I'm like, wait. It's just a bunch of women kicking ass. And no one's making a big deal that there's women. They're all women. They're making a big deal because they're good characters and they're working together. But no one ever made it a point but did we mention that the women were the ones that had to save the day because they're women? Because they've got tits. They never did that.
You're not allowed to call attention to their tits because there was a problem with the armor.
Oh, that's right. They were in trouble because they had tits.
Yeah. Can't make anybody happy anymore.
No, you can't. And, and I'm sorry, people are mad about, Gina Carano, but the Cara Dune scene with the gun getting jammed, that was hilarious. And it's just, I love how they were all about Cara Dune until they didn't like Gina Carano anymore. And then it doesn't change the fact that the character is still a strong female character done right. So instead of having a Mary Sue that this has everything handed to them and it's automatically good because they're good, you had a bunch of women kicking ass that you didn't even care about the fact they're women because it didn't even register with you until they already kicked the ass.
Yeah.
Which is what I've been saying since I saw the episode came out.
Well, I remember, because you actually, I didn't really watch season 2 very much. I was kind of like, whatever. But you were watching it, you're like, yeah, this is kind of like the Avengers, except they didn't feel the need to do the slow-mo walk,
Right, because it's strong female characters. They're strong characters that happen to be female.
Yeah.
And I think there's a difference. And she kind of says that, too. She said they didn't talk about the fact they were women. They were just the best people for the job. Yes, thank you. That's exactly what I've been saying.
Yeah, so this interview, it was on Looper. They were talking a lot about her health regimen and all of that. I guess she was sick. But yeah, look, I mean, we had several scenes in The Mandalorian where we had all women, but you were so invested in these characters, it wasn't like, golly, look at this ratio of women compared to,
You're just like, well, these are, there are a bunch of Mandalorians, there's a bounty hunter, and then there's an ex-fighter that they're all just, a soldier, all this kicking ass. You didn't care that, did we mention they're female? Who cares? They're kicking ass.
I'm just like, in what decade are we in? Because, you look at anime, you look at manga, especially, and there have been all female ass kicking super teams forever.
For years.
This
decades.
Freaking Sailor Scouts.
I know. And
mean,
I'm like, why do they keep acting like this is a brand new thing? But her whole quote was just, she was talking about how she liked playing Starbuck, because she goes, that we didn't have to mention the fact she was a woman. She was just a well-rounded, interesting, creative character.
Yeah, I want to go off on a tangent here, because you've never seen the new Battlestar Galactica.
No.
Well, it's not new now, it's old now, but newer Battlestar Galactica.
I did see the original.
Yeah. Well, the reboot was nothing like the original. It had the basic concept. Now,
that's what everybody said, yes.
I will tell you the truth, though. I prefer the reboot. This is one of those few cases where I prefer the reboot, because the original Battlestar Galactica, other than the nostalgia, it's obvious it's just a Star Wars knockoff. Mm-hmm. The new Battlestar Galactica was a very thinky show. I liked it. It had a lot of great actors in it. I wasn't, when I first heard like, oh yeah, Starbuck's a woman now, it's kind of like, oh, why? But then you see the show and it works. She worked out really well. I loved it, and except for the ending. The ending sucked, and I was really pissed about Caprica. They did one season of Caprica. They were gonna do the origin of the Cylons, and then anyway.
Yeah, I remember you watching that.
It's a good show, though. It's a good show.
But then they're talking about this would happen, and she said the reason why the scene at the end of Mandalorian worked was it didn't talk about the fact they were women. They were just the best people for the job, and they were there. And they did it. And they succeeded. We didn't stop to be like, female power, woohoo! You take the lead because you're the prettiest. You know what I mean? It's just the crew that was available, and they're just getting it done. And she's like, and I think that's what's changed. Not only the genre, but in our industry, is that we don't feel that we have to quantify a female's existence anymore by saying, well, she's a woman. You'd think that. You need to give Marvel a call and tell them so. She's a strong female character. We don't have to do that anymore. It's like, isn't it awesome to watch? Holy crap, that's amazing. Well, how I came from it was, I just like, wow, this is a really awesome scene. And then it just registered with me later that I'm like, oh, wait, they were all women, because it was like, you didn't have to think about it, 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, that's the thing. This is what gets me about all of this with the gender studies entering into the pop culture, is that we were actually further ahead, I think, in some ways 20, 30 years ago, because you look at shows that came out then and you had strong female characters. And they didn't make a big deal about it. It was normal. Now, the thing is, if you're trying to normalize different genders, different races, different sexual identities, whatever, drawing a lot of attention to it and treating it like it's an abnormal thing really has the opposite effect. And there have been strong female characters in science fiction for a very, very long time.
But I love it when they just realize that.
They just realized.
Oh my God, did you know? And it's like, yes, we did.
Well, Battlestar Galactica was, a pretty recent example. And like I said, tons of anime out there that have female protagonists, mostly female characters. And they're not making a big deal out of it.
No, they don't need to. And that's just it. I mean, they're good characters that happen to be male. Good characters that happen to be female. Good characters that happen to be non-binary. Good characters that happen to be whatever. And it's like, I'm so tired of a character descriptor being, race, sexual orientation, gender, whatever. Instead of being like, real descriptors about the character, not just about And I'm so tired of that, because if you're only defined by those things, you're a really sad character. What about your backstory? What, does it play in? And a lot of times it does play in, but let's play it into it, not just make it that this is what they are because we say so, and like trans, non-binary. And if you don't like it, it's because you're an istophobe, but not because maybe the character wasn't fleshed out and feels like a fan fiction insert.
People are attracted to, yes, sometimes they're really attracted. People are attracted to strong characters, people they can relate to. It might help to relate to a character if they have the same bits as you have, or they have the same
characters all the time that don't.
No, I mean, there are a lot of characters. I mean, God, Alien has a huge male fan base, and it's not people drooling over Sigourney Weaver. It's because Ripley was a kick-ass character. People like Princess Leia, not because they're salivating over Leia, even though, they're like, oh, the problematic slave getup, but because she was a good character.
Right. And the reason people don't like Rey that much, except for Reylos, is because she was a boring character.
She wasn't even a character. She had...
being good at everything automatically isn't a character trait.
Give me 2 personality traits of Rey.
She's a woman, but that's not a personality trait.
Give me 2 personality traits of Princess Leia.
She kicked ass. She took names. She didn't lower herself to anyone. She, stood up to authority and didn't cower from, Tarkin or Vader or anything else.
She was sarcastic.
Yes, she was great with Ewoks.
Yeah. So she has soft side.
Mm-hmm.
And again, go back to Rey. Give me 2 examples of Rey's personality.
Well, she did stand up to Kylo Ren, so she challenged him somewhat.
Oh, when he tried to mind rape her?
Yeah, but apparently she found that sexy, and, that was, a really a big turn on for her.
I can't even, I'm looking at Kylo Ren's personality. I'm like, other than temper tantrum, I can't really...
Temper tantrum. I know. I was like, I watched
Sulks
it.
and temper tantrum.
I was like, why is this kid acting like he's like an angsty... I won't even insult teen, but that's
hot topic.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't understand why he's acting this way. I just, what?
Darth Emo.
Yeah, pretty much. But back to the point here, which is just like, I just think that, we should be to a position where it shouldn't matter that we don't have to quantify it by strong female character anymore. I would love to say that is how it is, and it was in The Mandalorian. I agree with her, and it was in Battlestar Galactica. It is not in, the sequel trilogy by Disney with some of the stuff that's been going on. Now, I want to point out real quick before we wrap this up, though, that she had talked about that she was into science fiction and fantasy and things, and like these kind of shows and that because of her dad, which is so coincidental because I'm into all the stuff I'm into. I always love that kind of stuff, gravitated towards it because of my dad.
Yeah.
Grew up watching Knight Rider, A-Team, Airwolf. We had Star Trek all the time. We would go to the movies when they came out, Star Wars, obviously, E.T., all that stuff. I'd sit down and watch these shows with my dad. So I kind of have that in common with her as well. So maybe we look at things a little differently. I don't know. Or she's closer to our age, and it could be the generational gap.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But I was saying the same damn thing.
I know. So that's pretty cool.
So yay. Go you, Katie. Go you.
So hopefully they keep her around.
And thank you, Tony the Jedi, for saying that.
Yeah, thank you, Tony the Jedi. So we're going to wrap this one up.
Yes.
All right, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.